I think the most common misperception is that mediation is a fairly relaxed process. Let's not take it that seriously. Let's just give it a go. But as counsel, I think it is important for us to help clients understand that you've got to take this process with utmost seriousness, because it's almost one last genuine opportunity to reach a self-determined outcome, before you lose control of the process. Because if you don't solve it now in a self-determined outcome with the counterparty, you might reach the point of no return. For example, if we are looking at open court litigation, once the cat is out of the bag, where our friends from the media will report on the case, there would be a lot of optical and reputational considerations that is out of your control. And I think the final point in this particular regard is that if you place your dispute before a judge or an arbitrator, the judge or arbitrator can only decide based on the rules of evidence and can only determine, who is right or wrong, can only determine liability. You can't necessarily solve the problem that you have, sometimes even if you have recourse from those processes. The other common misperception is that if I offer to mediate, I'm showing weakness. I think the mindset has got to change, right? In the older days, people refer to mediation as an alternative process, an alternative PR process. Mediation, in many ways, invariably must be the first instance consideration for certain kinds of disputes, right? For a lot of commercial disputes, I would say. And that policy, you would say, is already found in the Singapore Rules of Court, for example, which mandates that before you formally sue somebody or a party, you have to consider amicable resolution. I think there's a bit of education required on clients' part that old mindset is no longer true. And obviously with the advent and the progress made by the SIMC, since its launch 10 years ago, together with the launch of the Singapore Convention on Mediation, I think there's a lot of emphasis placed on mediation now. So from a disputes perspective, I think clients need to understand that mediation is an acceptable way to resolve disputes. It's not about losing face. But if we are looking into that losing face factor, I would say two things. First thing is, actually in the realm of mind games, you don't lose much by letting your counterparty believe that they have a stronger case than you, because you make them a bit complacent and you enter into the first stage of engagement with that mindset. That could be a strategic advantage. The second strategic point I would say is that we find that in mediation, through engagement with the counterparty directly or via the mediator's assistance, they tend to become an intel gathering exercise as well, right? So there's a bit of a strategic impetus in that regard.